So good evening, friends. Today we are going to discuss 10 important topics from current affair. Most of these topics are from geography perspective. Okay, so today we are going to cover those geography related topics that were in news. Okay, time and again in 2019 and in 2020. So without wasting much time, let us look into the topics that we are going to discuss today. Okay, on your screen you will see now the topics that we are going to cover today. Okay, so these topics are okay. So these topics are, we are going to cover the Reunion Islands, we will cover the Vanilla Islands, we will cover geological time scale, we will understand about bio rock, we will see in detail about the Danakil Depression. Okay. Okay. So we will see the Danakil Depression, then we will see the White Island volcano, which is also known as Wahakari Island. Then we will see water stress. Okay, we will look into coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure. We will see biofuels, and we will understand about RAISE initiative. Okay, these are some of the most important topics that were in news time and again. Okay, so this is the first topic that we are going to cover. Reunion Island. So Reunion Island is a remote Indian Ocean island. Okay, so it is an island which is located in Indian Ocean. Okay, located between Madagascar and Mauritius. So this Reunion Island is located between Madagascar and Mauritius. So this big island that you can see over here, okay, that you can see over here. So this is Madagascar. Okay, this island is Madagascar. And then this is Reunion Island. Then to the right of it, we do have Mauritius. Okay, so Reunion Island is located between Madagascar and Mauritius. And if you look closely into this map, you will understand that Reunion Island is above the Tropic of Capricorn. Okay, so it lies between, you know, Tropic of Capricorn and equator. So it lies above the Tropic of Capricorn. This is another important information. So it is an it is an overseas region of France. Okay, Reunion Island is under the control of France. Then its capital is Saint Denis. Okay, Saint Denis is the capital of Reunion Island. So let's consider, let's say like this is the Reunion Island. So its capital is located somewhere here in the northern portion, which is Saint Denis, SAINT, Saint Denis. This is the capital. And this entire island is Reunion Island. Okay, Reunion Island. Now the island is home to the one of the world's most active volcanoes. Okay, it is home to one of the world's most active volcanoes, the Piton de la Fournaise. Okay, this is the name of the one of the world's most active volcano. Its name is Piton de la Fournaise. Which is also a World Heritage Site. It is a very important information that like on Reunion Island, there is a volcano. Okay, so it is one of the most active volcano in the world, and it is a World Heritage Site also. And India and France have conducted joint patrols from the Reunion Island for the first time. Okay, and this is different from the joint military exercise, which is Shakti. Okay, so this is different from that thing. So these two information are different, like just associated information. You just need to understand like what is the location of Reunion Island. Okay, so it is located between Madagascar and Mauritius. It lies above the Tropic of Capricorn, and it lies above the Tropic of Capricorn but below the equator. Okay, and like its capital is Saint Denis, and it has one of the world's most active volcanoes, which is Piton de la Fournaise, which is a World Heritage Site. So this is the information that you need to remember related to this island. Let us move to the next topic for the day. Next topic is Vanilla Island. We are going to understand about Vanilla Island. This was in news, okay, in 2019. So Vanilla Island is an affiliation of the island nations. So like we do not have a separate island that is called Vanilla Island. Okay, so different island nations came together. They formed a union. That union is called Vanilla Island. Why they have came together to form a union? Because they wanted to promote tourism in those island nations. Okay. So how many island nations are part of Vanilla Island now? There are 6 nations. So, okay, as per the official website of Vanilla Island organization, okay, so there are 6 island nations that are part of the Vanilla Island. They are number 1 Seychelles, number 2 Madagascar, number 3 Reunion, okay, number 4 Mauritius, number 5 Comoros, number 6 Mayotte, okay. In the Indian Ocean, it is also important to understand that like these islands, okay, these island nations are part of the Indian Ocean, and so they came together to form a travel destination brand, okay. And so the aim of the cooperation has been founded in 2010 at La Reunion is to pool forces and joint market the regions compared to the solely individual marketing of each island in the past. So simply they want to market the tourist destination, like of this particular these islands together. Okay, so Indian Navy has launched Operation Vanilla by sending INS. INS means Indian Naval ship. Okay, INS Aravat in support of flood hit Madagascar in January 2020, which was in line with India's vision of security and growth for all in the region. Okay, so India has sent, launched Operation Vanilla by sending INS Aravat to support the flood hit Madagascar. So Madagascar is an island nation over here, we can see. And so and it is important that between Madagascar and Africa we do have a channel. That channel is known as Mozambique channel. So Mozambique is already written, I'm just writing channel. Okay, so there is a channel. This channel is known as Mozambique channel. Okay, I hope you understood this topic, Vanilla Island. I have like given a link also, reference link related to Vanilla Island. If you want to learn more, I'll be sharing the PDF. You can click on this link. Okay, and it will open up the official website of the Vanilla Island. Then you can learn more about it. Now let us move to the third topic for the day, which is geological time scale. We will understand geological time scale. Okay, so why it was in news? Because recently, some of the some of the like astronomers, okay, not astronomers, like people have recommended inclusion of Anthropocene epoch into the geological time scale. That's why it was in news. So in that reference, we are going to understand some basics about geological time scale. And I have included a geological time scale for you over here. So after I share the document, you can go learn in detail about geological time scale. So we will discuss some basics about geological time scale in this respect. So the geological time scale is a system of chronological dating that relates to geological strata or stratigraphy to time. Okay, it is used by geologists, paleontologists, and other earth science to describe the timing and relationship of events that have occurred during the Earth's history. Okay, why it is used? To describe the timing and relationship of events that have occurred during the Earth's history. The International Commission on Stratigraphy, okay, the International Commission on Stratigraphy, ICS, sets the nomenclature of geological time spans. Okay, so this is the organization that is responsible for the management of geological time scale officially. Then few classifications of geological time scale are as follows. Okay, age, epoch, period, era, eon. Okay, age is millions of years long. Epoch contains more than one age. Then period contains more than one epoch. Era contains more than one period, and eon contains more than one era, and is the longest time division. So like as we move below, okay, what is happening? Simply the time scale is becoming bigger and bigger. Okay, this is the thing. So the current eon is Phanerozoic, okay, for 542 million years. Okay, then the previous eon was Proterozoic, lasted for about 2 billion years, and eon does not correspond to a particular duration. So this is the thing. In this respect, I have included this thing. Why it was in news, I have already discussed that some like scientists have recommended the International Commission on Stratigraphy to include Anthropocene epoch, because Earth is seeing a higher impact of human being on its on the climate change, and like human being have become a dominant force on the earth, that is like modifying the earth to a great extent. Next topic for the day is biorock. We will understand about biorock. Okay, so why biorock is in news? So I'll tell you. Okay, so recently what has happened, the Geological Survey of India is taking help from the Gujarat Forest Department, okay, to recreate some of the coral reef structures in the Gulf of Kutch region. Okay, so the technology that they are using, it is known as biorock technology, and it is also known as mineral accretion technology. Okay, so the technology that the Geological Survey of India is employing to regenerate the corals in the Gulf of Kutch region is biorock technology, and it is also known as mineral accretion technology. So that's why it was in news. So where is Gulf of Kutch located? So this is the place where Gulf of Kutch is located. So you can see, I'm just just um, underlining this word over here, but this is the Gulf of Kutch. Okay, this pointed thing. Then we have Gulf of Khambat. So I have included that map also for you over here. Okay, I'll be sharing this document. You can revisit again. So let us understand in depth about biorock technology. Okay, so biorock is the name given to the substance formed by electroaccumulation of minerals. What is happening? Electroaccumulation of minerals dissolved in seawater on steel structures that are lowered onto the seabed. Okay, so biorock is given. It is the name given to the substance which is formed by electroaccumulation of minerals dissolved in seawater to steel structures that are lowered onto the seabed. The technology works by passing a small amount of electrical current through electrodes in water. Okay. Then here they have written about the mechanism that is being followed to create biorock. Okay, like under the sea. So you can simply read it to learn more about it. Okay, so what happens? It leads to the generation of calcium carbonate at a quicker pace. Okay, so this is the thing. I'll be sharing this document with you. So biorock, I hope you understood. They are creating rock by passing electrical currents, okay, under the sea, that is leading to faster rate of generation of calcium carbonate. Okay, or carbonate formation is becoming is happening at a faster rate. Okay, that is leading to creation of coral reefs over there. Okay, this is biorock technology. Now let us learn about the fifth topic for the day, which is Danakil Depression. We will understand about Danakil Depression. So the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia, where it is located in Ethiopia, and Ethiopia is a country in the Horn of Africa. Okay, Horn of Africa means if you see the eastern portion of Africa, that is extending to a greater extent to the Indian Ocean region. So so this is Eritrea over here. Then this is Ethiopia. Okay, this is Ethiopia. You can see over here, I'm encircling. Okay, and this is entire border is Ethiopia, and this particular depression over here, this is Danakil Depression. Okay, so here a triangle, this particular depression is Danakil Depression. So like I'm putting an arrow. So this is in the in the country Ethiopia. Okay, it is in Ethiopia. Ethiopia is a country in the Horn of Africa. Okay, which is in the eastern portion of Africa. So why it was in news? Because the Danakil Depression in Ethiopia is at the northern end of the Great Rift Valley. Okay, so it is at the northern end of the Great Rift Valley. You can see over here. Okay, that red dotted thing. It is known as East African Rift, or it is also known as Great Rift Valley. Okay, so it is Great Rift Valley. Okay, this is the thing. So Danakil Depression in Ethiopia is at the northern end of the Great Rift Valley and separated by live volcanoes from the Red Sea. Okay, it is separated by live volcanoes from the Red Sea. It is one of the world's hottest places, as well as one of its lowest at 100 meters below sea level. Okay, so this is one of the world's hottest places. At the same time, it is one of the world's lowest places also. This is like 100 meters below the sea level. Okay, this is the thing. It was formed by evaporation of an inland water body and no stream flow out from this extreme environment. It is covered with more than 10 lakh tons of salt. Okay, so it is covered with more than 10 lakh 10 lakh tons of salt. Microbes are known to survive almost anywhere. Scientists now believe that this place is an exception. So over here, what is happening, like at Danakil Depression, even microbes are not able to survive. And that's why scientists are saying that this particular place is an exception in the history of Earth. Okay. Now we will understand what are the environmental conditions at Danakil Depression that is not allowing the growth of microorganisms, or that is not favorable for the adaptation of any kind of species over there. We are going to understand that thing. A new study says that the active and naturally occurring life cannot be sustained, and even it is daunting for extremophile microbes which can adapt to environmental conditions that are too extreme for everything else. Okay, so even those microbes, like these are known as extremophile microbes, that can adapt to extreme environment, they can also not survive in Danakil Depression. It identifies two barriers that makes adaptation highly difficult, such as, what are the two barriers? One of the thing is magnesium dominated brine. Okay, brine are means like they are salty, but they are not that salty. Okay, they are so it is magnesium dominated brine that cause cells to break down. Okay, so it contains magnesium dominated brine that cause cells to break down. Then environment and having simultaneously very low pH and high salt. Okay, so wherever we have high salt, generally, the pH level should be very high, because the pH scale extends up to 14. So the more we go towards the higher and the so the salty nature increases, but it has low pH level but high salt. So this is an exceptional environment over here, where even the like highly adaptable microorganisms are not able to survive. That's why Danakil Depression was in news. Okay. Now let us move to the next topic for the day, which is topic number 6. We will understand about White Island volcano. White Island volcano. Okay. So recently the White Island volcano, which is also known as Wahakari. Okay, Wahakari Island, in New Zealand, has recently erupted. Okay, so this White Island is also known as Wahakari Island. Okay, just these are the two names of the same thing. White Island is also known as Wahakari Island. It is located in New Zealand and it has recently erupted. That's why it was in news. It is the country's most active volcano, situated in the east coast of the Bay of Plenty. It is situated in the east coast of the Bay of Plenty. Okay, so you can see over here in this map, okay, a red dot is being shown. So this red dot is the place where the White Island, okay, White Island volcano has erupted recently. Okay, it has been built up by continuous volcanic activity over the past 1,50,000 years. Okay, it is a privately owned island. This is a privately owned island and tourist destination. The large eruption resulted in at least 5 fatalities. Means like at least 5 people have died because of the latest eruption of the White Island. Now we will move to the next topic for the day, which is topic number 7. We are going to understand about water stress. Okay, why water stress was in news? Because recently, okay, World Resources Institute has published a data that talks about water stress. Okay, World Resources Institute has published the data. That's why. Okay, so according to this recent data that was published by World Resources Institute, 1/4 of the world's population faces extremely high levels of baseline water stress. Then India is 13th among 17 countries which faces huge stress. Okay, India has more than 3 times the population of the other 16 extremely highly stressed countries. It implies that more than 3/4 of these populations facing extremely high water stress live in India. The report noted that last year, Niti Aayog declared the country is suffering from the worst water crisis in its history. Okay, Niti Aayog has last year, published a report that says that India is suffering the worst water crisis in its history. Then India's groundwater resources are severely overdrawn, drawn largely to provide water for irrigation. Then what are the steps taken by the government? Okay, in this regard, government has set up the Ministry of Jal Shakti, okay, Jal Shakti Ministry. Other solutions with the World Resources Institute suggested includes more efficient irrigation, then conserving and restoring lakes, floodplains, groundwater recharge areas, and collecting and storing rainwater. So a lot of steps have been taken by India. So further, you can read from the document that I'll be sharing. Okay. So I have included a map over here also that talks about, groundwater stress in India. Okay. This data was published by Aqueduct or World Resources Institute. Okay, so it marks the area that are extremely high risky. Okay, related to like extremely high groundwater depletion is happening. Okay, so this is red zone. It's extremely high. Then medium to high, then low to medium, then we have low, so no data like that. So this is the map that has been published by World Resources Institute. You can simply revisit this particular map to learn more about it. So what is important for us to learn from this news item is we need to learn about World Resources Institute as an organization. Okay, so World Resources Institute, it is a global research non-profit organization. It means like it is an NGO. Okay, it is not an intergovernmental body. It is important to remember. So World Resources Institute is a global research non-profit organization which focuses on 7 areas. What are those 7 areas? Food, forest, water, energy, cities, climate, and ocean. Okay, food, forest, water, energy, cities, climate, and ocean. Its mission is to move human society to live in ways that protect Earth's environment. It partners with local and national governments, private companies, publicly held corporations, and other non-profit organizations. Okay, so this is all about the 7th topic. Now let us move to the 8th topic for the day, which is coalition for disaster resilient infrastructure. Okay, this is the 8th topic for the day, CDRI. In short, it is known as CDRI. So I'll be writing over here. Sorry, CDRI, Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Okay, so Indian Prime Minister first proposed the CDRI during the 2016 Asian Ministerial Conference on Disaster Risk Reduction. The CDRI was later conceptualized in the International Workshop on Disaster Resilient Infrastructure, okay, IWDRI, in 2018 to 19. The coalition envisages 3-tier structure. Okay, it envisages 3-tier structure having governing council, executive committee, and a secretariat of the society. Okay, what are the objectives of CDRI? Okay, CDRI aims to serve as a platform where knowledge is generated and exchanged on different aspects of disaster and climate resilience of infrastructure. The work of CDRI is to focus on relevant theme areas, including the 4 major themes. What are the 4 major themes? They are risk assessment for key infrastructure sector at multiple scales, standard regulation and mechanism for enforcement, role of finance in promoting disaster resilience, then predictable mechanism for supporting disaster recovery in key infrastructure sector. The charter of CDRI has been shared with 38 countries, including G20 and non-G20 nations. Okay, so far nine countries, okay, have shown their willingness on paper, on writing, that they want to join CDRI. And these countries are Afghanistan, Australia, Bhutan, Fiji, Italy, Mauritius, Mongolia, Sri Lanka, and United Kingdom. Okay, these are the countries that have shown their willingness to join Coalition for Disaster Resilient Infrastructure. Now let us move to the next topic, which is topic number 9 for the day. We are going to understand about biofuels. Okay, what are biofuels? Biofuels are fuels. Sorry. Biofuels are fuels produced directly or indirectly from organic material biomass, including plant material and animal waste. Okay, so biofuels are fuels produced directly or indirectly from organic material biomass, including plant materials and animal waste. Primary biofuels are organic materials used in unprocessed form, primarily for heating, cooking, or electricity production. Ethanol is the secondary biofuel. It is very important. Okay, ethanol is the secondary biofuel which is produced through processing of biomass. Okay, so now let us understand about generations of biofuel. So we do have first generation biofuel, second generation biofuel, third generation biofuel, and fourth generation biofuel. Okay, so what do we mean by first generation biofuel? They are produced directly from food crops. Okay, wheat, sugarcane are the most widely used feedstocks to produce first generation biofuel. Now let us learn about second generation biofuel. Okay, so they are produced from marginal croplands unsuitable for food production. For example, Jatropha. Okay, it overcomes over food or fuel debate in first generation biofuel. Okay, so first generation biofuel, because like we are producing it directly from the food crops, so people are saying like, are you preferring fuel over and above the food requirement of people? So second generation biofuel, you know, like closes the debate on first generation biofuel related to preference, whether to give preference to food or to fuel. Now let us learn about the third generation biofuel. Okay, so third generation biofuel uses specially engineered energy crops such as algae as its energy source. The algae are cultured to act as a low cost, high energy and entirely renewable feedstock. Okay, algae will have the potential to produce more energy per acre than conventional crops. Okay, so this is third generation biofuel. Let us learn about fourth generation biofuel. Okay, fourth generation biofuel, it is aimed at producing sustainable energy and also capturing and storing carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is captured, which can then be sequestered. Okay, this is carbon neutral technology. Okay, fourth generation biofuel is carbon neutral technology. Okay, so this is all about biofuels, and we have learned about four generations of biofuel. Okay, now let us move to the last topic for the day, which is RAISE initiative. We are going to learn about RAISE initiative. Okay, so RAISE stands for retrofitting of air conditioning to improve indoor air quality for safety and efficiency. Okay, what is the full form of RAISE? Once again, retrofitting. Okay, retrofitting of air conditioning to improve indoor air quality for safety and efficiency, and it is a national program to improve indoor air quality. Okay, it is a national program in India to improve the indoor air quality, RAISE initiative. It is launched by Energy Efficiency Services Limited under the administration of Ministry of Power. Okay, it is launched by Energy Efficiency Services Limited under the administration of Ministry of Power. It is developed for healthy and energy efficient buildings in partnership with US Agency for International Development's Maitri program. Okay, so its short form is USAID. Okay, US Agency for International Development. Okay, USAID's Maitri program. The pilot means it is, you know, being launched for the first time. So the pilot program focuses on improving indoor air quality, thermal comfort and energy efficiency. Okay, it focuses on three areas. So one of the areas indoor air quality, second is thermal comfort, third is energy efficiency. So these are the three areas on which the RAISE program or RAISE initiative, you know, focuses on. In EESLs, okay, offices air conditioning system. What is EESL? Energy Efficiency Services Limited. It can potentially alleviate the issue of bad air quality in workshops across the nation. Okay, so this is all about today's topic that we have learned today. So here I will revisit these topics that we have learned. Okay, so we have understood about Reunion Island, then we have understood about Vanilla Island, we have seen the geological time scale, we have understood the biorock technology or mineral accretion technology, we have seen Danakil Depression, we have seen White Island volcano or Wahakari Island, which is in New Zealand. Then we have seen the water stress, okay, which is a data released by the World Resources Institute. We have learned that World Resources Institute is a international non-governmental organization. We have seen the pollution for disaster resilient infrastructure. We have understood about 4 generations of biofuels. Then we have understood about RAISE initiative. So any one of you having any questions on the topic that we have covered today, okay, so I'll be available to answer your queries. Okay, so you can ask your questions if you have any specific question on today's topics.